and then it wears through the glove like anything. This is a slightly thick pigskin, and it doesn't tend to tear through it. And I don't think I've got any holes in this, and I've been using this quite a lot for doing this. With gloves, they just shred. And having done lots of sort of authentic demonstrations with the authentic kit, with the hut and pie next to me, either for schools or film work, you generally get some clever so-and-so who comments on the glasses or the glove, and it's like, yeah, so don't slice my own hand off, you so-and-so. So this next plate, I'll hopefully get rid of this nasty section here, but with that last plate, there's been a little section of iron staining that's come out the top. It's not a problem at all, it's just on the surface, but it looks absolutely beautiful. It's like this really deep red maroon colour. And the fact of that present suggests it might be there elsewhere. So if it comes off nicely, I hope you have a nice long axe. It's grey, black and red. Fingers crossed. Here's that next week plate. So again, this flint is really nice and dark and glassy. To get blocks of flint like this in a secondary deposit in sand and gravel, it's eroded from chalk at some point. To get it in these large pieces that are actually in very good condition, very few cracks through them, it's quite rare. We know that people in the past were picking up on this. There's a really great site where some of the country's best flint came from, a pit at Linford. Where there are lots of pebbles, the sea has almost quality tested them because they've been bashed about a bit, and any cracks in the pebbles will have already been broken up. So you're already getting the really hard ones that survive, and then it's just down to you to smash them. Right, big plate. That lovely iron stain is still there.
Do you ever feel I shouldn't have done that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I often feel that, particularly when I've made a really nice tool and I thought, oh, just get rid of that, or just change the shape slightly and actually mess it up.
Yeah.
The ordinary way to stop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an art itself.
And your leg, when you bash that down?
It's generally okay, because I slightly offset the flint so it's just off the sides so it goes on the top. When I'm teaching people, you always see them put the flint directly on top of their leg, get ready to drop the hammerstone right on top. You feel that, and they'll go, okay, I'll do it on the edge, and they'll put it back, okay, I'm going to hit this on the edge, it's offset, bang! I told you. So you can see that I've got this really lovely black glassy side that is that really predictable glass material, and then on this side I've got that really grey resistant material, so you get a real range. It's essentially what is quite a small rock by itself in comparison to whole geological bodies that you get of igneous or metamorphic that have slight variations from one end of the seam to the other. Might be some slight content change, but in this small rock there's a really big difference. We are privileged to be able to have that set up. It's such a perfect climate for people that really only got to the point where Britain was totally uninhabitable once. So that's one of the perfect examples. I'm just illustrating again. That angle change from, you can see where the surface goes and stops. It's just under a right angle. All I've done now with that flake there is I've dropped the angle there, so my next blow, rather than going straight down, is straight into the flint to encourage that convex curve. This is just where I need to hit the flint right, so it's down to human error now.
Apart from doing what you're doing there, what do you consider yourself to be? Archaeologist or?
Yeah, I'm an archaeologist. I don't do too much excavation work. I have been on a few works I've been on. I've actually been lucky enough to be in the Stonehenge Avery landscape. But generally I've found on site the most useful thing is either as the flint tools are coming out, or people working away, I generally stand behind them. When someone finds something, they hold it up, and I can generally spot from sort of 10 metres or so whether it's been worked or not. So it just means that there's such a rapid rate of item filtering. It means that the finds tray at the end of the day is filled up with naturals. But it's a lovely one. Say that. Study that he suggested that these fine-grained crystalline axes would be better, possibly, than some of these more brittle materials. But I managed to go further and said there's in fact a margin between too brittle and too coarse, and there's these perfect axes that happen to come from these really fine igneous bands that are just perfect. Experimental archaeology to the rescue. Hopefully, there aren't too many little issues left now. Just getting to that point where shaking is the next stage. So I've really got to be careful that I don't create any issues for myself, any little problems that haunt me later, because I still have to get rid of them. So that's the last bit on top. Bring that edge up. I'm thinking about that. These are all thoughts and calculations that are constantly going around in my head and would have been 2 million years ago. There's a lot of thought going on. Whilst you're carrying this, it's not blunting, it's not changing very much, but when you need it, you can quickly manufacture it into something you need. It could be used as it is as some kind of very crude cutting device, but it's definitely a rough out. Annoyingly, these are very rare to find in archaeology. I'm not really aware of any clear examples like this which are actual rough outs.
they're masters of this, or where would you class yourself as being?
Actually, someone sent me an online survey because they were doing a study into Flintknapping level. Now, there was a master, expert, a variety of different levels. I don't know where to consider myself. And he sent like the guidelines. And the difference between expert and master was being able to teach other people, and I've been teaching other people for ages. So apparently, according to his guidelines, I count as a master. I think it depends on whether it's a good day of napping or not, really.
Has the red cloud still in it?
Still there.
Oh, it's still there, okay.
It's still on the other side as well. Hopefully it'll stay there, it's quite nice. I've just got to make sure I don't screw up now. All down to me now. It's a really clean piece of flint. It hasn't got too many issues on it, so I'm really putting my neck on the line now. So if it doesn't go well from here, it's my fault. Unless that little short conclusion goes, which I might blame it on anyway. The amount of times I've broken pretty nice tools because there's been one bit which hasn't been quite right, and I've just been so set on removing it that I've just ended up breaking it all. It's just been probably the most authentic fingering behaviour to ever get in the process of manufacture. I've got rid of a good chunk of it. It was a bit more than this, but he's next to the place. Nice. Good more chunk of it gone. And by removing it as quick as possible, I'm really giving myself the best chance of getting things back on track. I think I'll have to leave that bit for now, the angles aren't quite right. I'll have to start refining the rest of the axis around it, which is really risky and very difficult, what I've just said, but the angles are not quite right. And if I want that best chance of getting rid of it, I really do need to leave it and wait for that perfect opportunity to get rid of it. The stack that I created earlier on accident is in the wrong place. So it's really going to finish off with a grand finale, fingers crossed scenario. The amp is very good for getting very precise plays when there's a very thin area. You just want to get a small play counter that not take too much because it's got a very narrow edge. Whereas these pedals are very rounded and has gone really well so far, which has surprised me a bit. I'm almost impressed myself.
That's what we're always fighting, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're always fighting against
Got it. That was actually a lot easier than I thought. Must be doing concentrating.
We've
Right, done. I've never actually sold an axe flank for polishing before. I've got a few to make for some museums, but they won't be as large as that, because that really is early style Neolithic axe. The ones where you get that really rounded base and back. You get these, have this similar sort of style, which is really thick, quite easy to round, whereas you get much flatter ones, which have a straight-edged facet, which is much later. What I'll do is I'll just rough the edges a bit, so it's razor sharp all the way around, and I'll send it home. But that, you couldn't use that as it is, that's a serious lump of rock. And I'm pretty pleased with that. But it's these that if axes were being traded, and there's a lot of discussion about whether they were being traded quite as they have been labelled as, which is in the middle. It's a minute, in fact. I have a clock in there, it's a second hand. But so the barbed tanged arrowheads, the way that you have to manufacture them with all of them basically flaked arrowheads, it must be done with pressure. You can't flake them because it's such a thin piece of flint. Thinness, really nice flake with a knife. Or a small, maybe apple dart point here, and again, loads in there. And that really lovely flake. Incredible, isn't it? Hand potential written all over it.